Brown Ford. It's time for the Black Factor. Y'all know how we do every single week.
Always ready to get it in.
Always ready, always ready to get it in. I see you, Regina Freeman. Thank you for checking in. Look, y'all.
Tonight's show.
I'm gonna just cut to the chase. Tonight's show is a little bit special, and it's a kind of an urgent matter. You all know I always deal with the history of things, but we're gonna get into some real current stuff and something so current and so urgent that is critically important to all of us out there. And I want y'all to pay real close attention to me. Make sure that you share this live. Make sure that you hit those subscribe buttons, hit those follow buttons, hit your notification buttons. We on Twitch, Twitter, and don't forget, y'all, support Black media. And I'm going to tell you one thing, tonight especially, supporting Black media is extremely critical.
Why tonight?
And I'm going to show you why tonight. Tonight is a prime example of why Black media is so important.
To my Also Smooth Radio family, y'all, thanks for
checking in. To my Also Smooth Radio family, y'all, thanks for checking in.
We got a real special show tonight.
We got a real special show tonight. Y'all pay attention, especially my East Coast family, because this is a very urgent show, a very urgent message that's going to go out. My Also Smooth people, you can always download that app at Play Store or iTunes, so y'all be looking out for that when you want to not necessarily tune in and watch us live. You can always listen, but it's still going to be live. Okay, look, y'all.
I have tonight something very important to bring to you.
Something very important
Let me
to
get
bring
the show
to you.
started.
Let me get the show started.
We're going to be ready
Let's
to
hit
rock,
this thing, and we're going to be ready to rock, y'all.
All right. So listen.
All right.
I had
So
something
listen.
special. Something
I
else
had
was
something
gonna
special,
do
something
tonight,
else I was
y'all,
going to
but
do
I'm
tonight, y'all, but
compelled
I'm
to skip over all
compelled
of that for right now.
to skip over all of
in
that
fact,
for right now.
Just stay tuned for
In fact,
tomorrow.
just
There
stay
will
tuned
be
for
a special
tomorrow.
show on
There
tomorrow
will
because
be
I'm
a
going
special
to be
show on
discussing
tomorrow because I'm going to be discussing on tomorrow
Haitian refugee
the
situation and those
Haitian refugee situation and those at the border. We're going to have a special guest. He is a Haitian pastor who is down in El Paso, and he's doing the work. He's doing the hard work, y'all. And we're going to talk about that on tomorrow. But tonight, we got another problem. We got an issue that we need to address. Now I'm about to put up
and I want you all to pay
a
very,
photo,
very close attention.
and I want you all to pay very, very close attention. I'm going to continue to put this photo up throughout the show because it's critically important. Because tonight we're going to be talking about missing and abducted
and the lack of
Black
urgency
women
when it comes
and the
to
lack of urgency when it comes to
being missing. This
our
is the Black
sisters
Factor.
being
We're gonna
missing.
deal
This
with
is the Black
why
Factor.
it
We're going to deal
affects
with
us.
why
I ain't talking
it
about them
affects
tonight,
us.
'cause I was even
I
gonna
ain't talking
talk
about them
about
tonight
Gabby
because I was
Petito
even going to
tonight and
talk
her
about
situation.
Gabby Petito
But I don't
tonight
even
and
wanna
her
talk about
situation.
that.
But I don't
And
even
if
want
I
to talk
do, it'll
about
be
that.
much later on in the show,
And
but
if
we
I
gonna
do,
talk
it'll be
about
much
this
later
right
on
now
in the
tonight.
show. But
Mike
we're going to talk
Sampson, I
about
see
this right now
you.
tonight. Michael Sampson, I see you.
Allian
Allian
Jones,
Jones,
I see
Valeria
you. Thank
Connor,
y'all for checking
and
in.
Val Wells, I
So
see you.
look.
Thank y'all for checking in. So look,
I want y'all to look at this real closely.
I want y'all to look at
see
this
young
real
lady
closely.
right here?
Y'all see this young
Tamar
lady right here?
Ingleton.
This is
She
Tamar
has been
Ingleton.
missing
She has been missing
yesterday.
since
She was on her way
yesterday. She was
from her
on her
home
way
to school.
from her home to school.
And what ended up happening?
And
y'all,
what
I
ended up
apologize.
happening?
I just got the notice.
Y'all, I apologize. I just got the notice that we're doubled up on the voice, and I apologize for that. We're gonna take care of that. Okay, so she was on her way from home to school. Okay, she was on her way. She's a college student, 18 years old, and was on her way home. I mean, on her way to school. In Brooklyn, at Brooklyn College. She's enrolled at Brooklyn College. She was on her way to school, and this was yesterday at 12 p.m. She left Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Okay. Now, I happen to have one of her family members on tonight. We're going to talk to him, and he's going to give y'all more information, and we're going to discuss the real problem here further, as he has a limited amount of time to talk to us tonight. So we're going to get that in right here, right now. And I want to introduce you all to my man, Addis Ingleton. Mr. Ingleton.
Peace, peace, peace. Yeah, it's it's definitely a hectic situation I'm in. Can you hear me clearly? All right. It's I appreciate you first of all in your platform for broadcasting this to your followers. So hopefully, and people sharing this story can bring some awareness to my niece. This is my brother's daughter. Her name is Tamar Ingleton. Um, as Mr. Forbes just said, been missing since yesterday, but unlike her character. So this is not like a wild child. Yes, most definitely. She's a church going girl. She writes poetry for the church. Um, she's very just, she's quiet for the most part. Good girl, gets great grades, and yeah, she's a phenomenal person. So it definitely took us aback a little bit when we found out that she didn't alert no one to where she was, which is that is correct. Within 2 to 3 hours, she has some form of contact, especially, if she's at school, that's a different case. But for the most part, when she's out of school, she will alert the family members that she's on her way home so people know where she's at because you already know the streets of Brooklyn, it's crazy. So you kind of, when you got children, when you got family members that are in that environment, you got to kind of keep people aware of your whereabouts, where you're going. There's a lot of kidnappings going on in Brooklyn. There's a lot of pimp activity going on in Brooklyn. So yeah, these kids have a lot of challenges just going to and from.
Right. Okay. So, um, man, this I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. This is a bit of a disturbing topic for me tonight. Is because it's something that, but it's something that needs to be addressed. After doing my homework, and digging into this just a little bit, I'm finding that there are far more situations that that we are unaware of in America, and it's really crazy to me because when you start really looking at these numbers and you understand that, and here's one of the glaring discrepancies that I found. It seems that when it comes to a young black woman being missing, the lack of urgency that is given
Mm-hmm.
to these situations by the media
That's
and by
right.
the authorities is just it's just disrespectful and, and it's just blatantly cruel. How
Right.
give us some idea of what's happening in that regard where you are reaching out to the authorities and trying to make this get this out there.
Understood. So yeah, the police have been contacted since 9 a.m. Uh, this morning. She's been missing since yesterday. Did not return home
And
last
that's something
night,
she's never
which
done,
again,
right?
never have done in her life. She's 18 years old, and her 18 years of living on this earth have never went a night without coming home. Um, so that was definitely something that took us aback. It had us shocked,
Right.
right? When you got someone who's just doing something that's not in her character, not in her schedule, yeah, it definitely brings awareness and it has us now scared. So that pretty much was the situation. Um, she basically went to school, and we haven't heard from her since. Contacted the police since 9 a.m. They said, it had to be a 24-hour, time frame in which she should be missing, and this in which they could then post it as missing. So she was. Then the police were contacted afterwards, after 12 p.m. Um, and they were then giving my brother the runaround, saying, she could have a boyfriend. You might want to wait a little bit longer to see if she contacts you. And my thing is, since 9 a.m., I already had the post out on
So
social
basically,
media.
she was
I had
y'all
one in
got
the
the brush
police
off
stop.
from the authorities, as if to say, well, just give it time. But while y'all are waiting
Just give,
on them,
just give it time.
anything could be going on,
And,
right?
and, and what was also brought up was she's 18 years
Mm.
old, right? She has the free will to move and move around the city as she chooses. She's 18, and my thing is, um, I'm 40. When I was 18, now that may seem like an old age to some people, but even at 18, you're still a child to me. You're still a teenager. So I guess I didn't like that reaction. I didn't like that response of saying, she's only 18, give her some
And
time,
being
or,
18 means she
you
doesn't
know,
qualify for an Amber Alert, right?
well, honestly, that could be the
Mm-hmm.
case. Um, which is correct. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Right, because she's 18 years
Right.
of age. So at the end of the day, it's problematic for me because this is a loved one. These people are answering the phones. They have a job to do, and I think a lot of times, you don't relate to the people who's actually dealing with a lost one. This is like a family member. So it's way more intense for me
Right.
making the call than someone answering the call and just saying, hey, she's 18, give it some time. And my thing is, I don't care if my child has been missing for 5 hours. If this is unlike her
Right.
character and she has never done nothing like this in her life, there should be a certain urgency to try to locate her or just put some type of extra energy into finding her. So we as the family have been on the forefront on social
Mm-hmm.
media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, posting her picture and trying to be proactive in
Right.
finding her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: I have daughters, and I can only, man, listen. This would absolutely freak me out. So I definitely get it. So thus
Most
far,
definitely.
in as far as the authorities are concerned, she still has not been listed as a missing person.
She still has not been listed, still has not been found.
Is there a possibility of at least filing a report of any kind? Do they have they completely turned all avenues off until they decide that it's a possibility that she's missing?
Well, at this time, my brother, which is this is his daughter, is talking to the police. They're trying to basically establish that officially as a missing person.
Wow. Now,
So I have not gotten that word as of yet, but I know that since 5 p.m., they have not listed her as a missing person. 12 p.m. yesterday is when she was missing. So, in my opinion, 12 p.m. today, she should have been listed as a
right, because
missing
that would have been
person,
24
which she
hours.
has not been. There you go. So, that is
So
extremely
the 24-hour
frustrating for me
window
as her
has
uncle.
evolved, has passed, expired, and they still are dragging feet. Is there
There
is
you
there
go.
a
And
chain
that
of
is a fact.
command that you could possibly go up?
Possibly, and that's where we're working on
Okay.
currently at this
Now,
time.
you did mention to me because I asked you earlier. She does possess a cell phone, and that phone is supposedly potentially dead or off because you all hadn't been able to contact her, and it goes straight to voicemail. Now, let me. I'm
That
gonna
is
I
correct.
want to ask this because I have a very wide audience here, and I want to ask my audience members, uh, what can a person do? Because I know iPhone has all of those types of features where you can find the phone and that kind of thing. Is it possible to do anything on that device while it's off, or does it have to be on? Somebody answer that for me. And if that is the case, is it possible for authorities, or can you all get a hold of her cell phone carrier and find out where the last place her phone may have pinged off of? I mean, I've seen that kind of stuff on TV. I don't know if that is a thing. I think it is. I've heard of it being in criminal cases.
Now that's correct. Now my brother did contact the carrier. They're saying they cannot release that information to him because he is not the owner of the
She is,
phone.
or is
So
she the sole owner of the phone, or does she on someone's account?
she's the sole owner of
Okay.
the account.
And it would require, well, I wonder, is it possible to get some sort of a court order or something? I guess you would have to have a police report in order to get a court order. See, this is so
That
you're
is
tied
correct.
up in red tape while her life potentially hangs in the balance.
And you said the perfect thing. Her life hangs in the balance while this red tape has to be figured out. And we as uncles, parents, grandmothers, aunties, uncles don't have that time, especially when you're dealing with an area such as Brooklyn,
Right.
New York. We're not talking about California where it's like palm trees and great life. We're talking about a poverty-stricken
Right.
area, and it's a lot of extreme violence in that area. And we're talking about a person who does not have a history of exhibiting these type of actions of being wild or out or not coming home or running away. She has no history of the sort. So obviously, you know, we got our boots on the ground. We have extended all of this information to our family and friends within the Brooklyn area, Harlem area, Manhattan, Queens. We have contacted numerous people, and we're putting it out there because we know we can't rely really at this point, especially having contact system and them not really showing
Ladies
any
and
type
gentlemen
of
in my
interest
audience on Oso Smooth Radio, as well as Black Factor family, if y'all have anybody out on that East Coast and there's anything that you know or any resources that you have that we can reach out and attempt to get some movement, at least a police report filed. I know we got some people out that way, y'all. Let's reach out and see if we can make something happen.
And we're talking about Brooklyn. So anybody that's on the East Coast that's listening, we're talking about Brooklyn, New York, specifically Crown Heights, East Flatbush, Brooklyn. So that's the area in which she left, and then she was headed to Brooklyn College. So if you know anyone in the Crown Heights area, East Flatbush area, Bed-Stuy area, Canarsie area, all of these are areas that are interest to me. So yeah, it's very frustrating, man. Me as her uncle.
One of my listeners has already said she's already informed them. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also say this: do not hesitate to pick up your phones and call these areas, these police areas.
Thank you, my
Reach
brother.
out to them and say, hey, listen, there's a young lady missing. Tamar Ingleton, what are y'all doing about it? Reach out and make these people get on their square, because let me tell y'all something. This is one of the problems that we suffer from within our own communities. We're marginalized, we're demoralized, we're dehumanized, and these are the reasons why, because we don't have enough outrage. There needs to be more outrage. And if you show your outrage to these people, then maybe they'll get off their asses.
That's right. Because they sitting behind the desk a lot of the times. They just
one of my listeners just gave me some information. Dana Brock. If you have her Google account and email address, you can use Google Maps to see where the phone was over the day.
Well, thank you. And I'm gonna make sure I notate that as well. So the Google account.
Kim Shelton says Brooklyn College is by the junction in Flatbush. That's right, Bessie Taylor is strengthening numbers. Let's make it happen.
Much appreciated.
Michael Samsonite,
much appreciated.
He told me to send the picture, and he will send it to his people in NYC. Let's make it happen, y'all.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my sisters, for real. This is much appreciated. I appreciate the whole family for listening, tuning in, and paying special attention, not only to this case, but cases in general of black females, black males.
I'm getting ready to talk about that next, brother. Just as soon as you ready to go, I'm getting ready to get on that, because this is an issue. You know, again, I had a whole other story set up for today, but because this came across my desk late this evening, we're gonna talk about this, because this is urgent and it's important, and it's something that we do not pay enough attention to. And this is not the only situation. I'm from Chicago, and there have been multiple occasions where I've seen young women come up missing. And as a matter of fact, when I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, I had a friend of mine whose sister came up missing in Atlanta, who has yet to be found, and that was almost 20 years ago. Yeah. So and the more I dug and the more stuff I found, listen, I could talk about this all night. The numbers are there, the information is out there, the stories are countless. The stories are in the tens of thousands. We could never tell them all, and it's a shame.
That's right.
I've actually found out that in the United States, there are 613,000 reported missing people in 1 year. 60% of whom are people of color. And they say black women only make up 7% of the U.S. population, but they represent 10% of all missing person cases throughout this entire country. Now,
that's
it is. But this brings me to the point where where I struggle, and I actually have one of my Black Factor family members on here tonight, my girl Bessie Taylor, and her and I go back and forth all the time, but she is absolutely a women's advocate, and she always talks about how women are not protected, and she's absolutely right. And her and I, sometimes we bump heads on different things. We joke a lot. But the fact is, black women are not protected enough. We don't protect them enough in our own communities, and then when others get a hold of them, we're even slower to move. And this is not acceptable.
That's right.
It's just not. Period. I got daughters of my own who I'm happy to say are, very capable women, but I've always worried about them. They've traveled the world on their own. They've done some things that I've always had questions. It's been questionable to me as a man, but I try to let them live their life. But there's been plenty of sleepless nights, so I definitely get it.
Right.
So what we're gonna do here, Addis, is we're gonna continue to push this issue, and we're gonna continue to push. I'm gonna bring that picture back up again, but I want I'm gonna DJ Samsonite. I'm gonna make sure I get that out to you, so that you'll have it. So that that gives you an idea right there. She's 18. But that gives you an idea right there. She's 18 years old. A spoken word poet. In fact, a spoken word poet in her and speaker in her church. Y'all make sure that you share this. I'm going to actually put her picture. I'm going to actually put her picture on my Facebook page. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to my Facebook page, you can get that picture and forward it to anyone that you might know. Forward it to anyone that you might know or people that you might in that regard. Have any information in that regard. Kim Shelton wants to know: does she use the train?
She does use the train. She uses the train bus. Okay. Correct. Now, I do want to make a correction. I was in a rush when I put together that missing persons picture. Her birth date is actually 2002.
It's on here, brother. It's corrected. I told you. I got it. Now listen, y'all. Her birthday is tomorrow. This young lady is missing, and her birthday is tomorrow, y'all. She'll turn 19 years old.
That's right.
All right.
Yo, thank you, Mr. Forbes. I want to just say thank you to you and your platform, because outside of you and me putting in the work in my family, I had no one else put this on their platform and broadcast.
Well, I'm just one small guy, my brother, but I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna push it.
You already did it, my brother. You already did it, and may the Most High bless you and your platform and your family, because you're doing the work, man. And I just appreciate it, especially being in this vulnerable state that I'm in. It just feels. I'm ecstatic to know that there's people that take just as much interest in this.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. The Black Factor family, man, we got you. We're gonna push it.
For sure. Much appreciated, man. And to all the fathers that have been
Allian Jones made the point right quick. The Allian Jones says there are cameras on those trains.
Great. So it's a whole lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work. So these are just the things that, to try to put it together. One thing that I know, there's a whole lot of cameras everywhere these days. So it's just a matter of tracking it down, man. But the problem is, and the real problem that we have, is that not enough resources are used in that way to benefit our sisters. And that needs to change.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you get an opportunity, pick up the phone. Call them precincts in Brooklyn. Give the location again. Give the area again, Addis.
Yeah. Schenectady Avenue in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. That's where she went missing initially. She was going to Brooklyn College. That's near the junction. But initially, she was leaving from Crown Heights, East Flatbush, Brooklyn. Schenectady, specifically Schenectady Avenue in Crown.
So if I'm able to provide a phone number for that precinct or for that area or that department, I will. But ladies and gentlemen, reach out. Anything you can do. If you know somebody in the police department, if you know somebody in a higher agency, the feds, anybody, reach out. Let's find this sister. Let's get her home. Let's find out what's going on.
Mr. Forbes, thank you, man. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough.
Well,
man.
Brother, you don't have to thank me. This is what I do. But I definitely, you know what I'm saying, man. I appreciate the accolade, man. This when you have a platform like this, man. This what you're supposed to do with it,
That's right.
To those right. And much is given, much is expected, and I expect to do my part. And I'm gonna do everything I can to try and help you with this. And I got people out there, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, share this live, put it out there. I know y'all got people on that East Coast. Get it out there. Let's get it cracking. I'm going to find the nearest precinct to that location that you gave, and I'm going to try to get a phone number or something. Because here's the deal: if we blow their phone
And I
up,
think, as a matter of fact, it's the 71st
70,
precinct.
y'all heard that, the 71st precinct, right? Brooklyn,
in
Brooklyn,
New
New York. 71st precinct in Brooklyn, New York. Let's blow their phone up, y'all. Let's blow their phone up. Let's blow the phone up.
Yes, sir.
Let's make that joker come off the doggone desk. Let's make sure they understand that this sister's important to us and they need to do their job. They're the first line. We need to make sure they understand that. Let's make it happen. If it was one of their children, what would they do?
That's right. That's right.
So let's make that happen. Addis, listen, I appreciate you, my brother. Our prayers are with you. I thank you for coming in here and being able to articulate what needed to be said so that we can try and get some motion on this thing. If we don't do nothing but make stuff start moving, that's a start. You know what I mean? But there's not enough urgency in regard to our black women, and this is something that needs to happen right now. Not tomorrow, right now. Right now. We overdue. It needs to happen now, today.
Hey, look,
this evening.
The Most High made this happen. All praise due to the Most High God. And bless you. May He bless your listeners. And I just appreciate everyone for taking a listen and hearing this out. And I hope that y'all can just reach out, anyone that you may know, again, in the Brooklyn area. If you could just share her picture, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram, your Twitter. If y'all can afford the time to just call the 71st Precinct, ask about Tamar Ingleton, I would be greatly appreciated. I much appreciated to everybody that's just taking a listen. This platform is great for just bringing the awareness to the people, and I thank God that you exist, man.
I appreciate you, my brother. All right, you take care, man, and you be safe out there, and keep me posted on what's going on. You got my number. It doesn't matter what time of day or night, man. You let me know.
I will, Mr. Forbes. You have a wonderful day, my brother. Thank you again.
Sir. Have a good night. Be careful out there. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
We have a phone number for the 71st Precinct in New York, in Brooklyn right now. Ladies and gentlemen, take this number down. 718-735-0511. That is the 71st Precinct in Brooklyn. You want to call there and you want to tell them that Tamar Ingleton is missing. And we want to know what they're going to do about it.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, make that happen. Blow the phone out the precinct. That number, 718-735-0511, 71st Precinct, Brooklyn, New York.
We're going to be calling them all night. I'm about to make a call to them right now.
Listen, y'all, pressure bust pipes. Let's bust the pipes tonight. Let's put some pressure on that thing. You understand me? Let's make it happen.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother, be careful out there, my man. We're going to work on this.
God bless,
you have a good
brother.
evening.
You as well, my brother. Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All I can say is we got. All I can say is now we got to work on this. I'm gonna dig a little. I'm gonna dig a little deeper into this thing, just to show you. And just to show you urgent this type of situation is, and how crazy this type of situation is, and how crazy how crazy things are. I apologize for the sound, y'all. I be getting so involved in the show. I be moving stuff and stuff be happening. But anyway, okay, look, y'all. Here's the thing, and here's the question: what does the average missing person victim look like? According to national media reports, the average missing person looks like a young white female, usually blonde with blue eyes. Why? Because these are the people that they pay attention to. These are the people who they give the benefit of the doubt of being potential runaways or not being runaways and coming from a good home and all that kind of thing. And they put this urgency behind finding individuals who fit that description. Riri put up, though I do not know many on the East Coast or New York area, find Tamar Ingleton, 18 years of age, urgent, missing since 12 noon yesterday. She put up the phone number and the precinct. 718-735-0511, y'all. 71st Precinct, Brooklyn, New York. Blow the phone up. Now, the number of disappeared black women and girls is at 64,000. Anywhere between 64,000 and 74,000 black women and girls are currently missing in the United States. That's too many. That's way too many, y'all. Not missing, in fact, missing. Literally disappeared off the face of the earth. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I find that to be very disturbing. How do 75,000 people come up missing? Just disappear. No trace. That's insane to me. But arguably, due to pressure from activists and advocacy groups such as Black and Missing Foundation, y'all keep that in mind, Black and Missing Foundation, they document and bring awareness to missing black people and growing national interest in human trafficking, but they were responsible, arguably, for major news outlets such as CNN, who ran a story in 2019 about an alarming number of missing black children and black women in the United States. So, sounding the alarm about the lack of coverage of missing black children and women, the distinct barriers for black families reporting missing loved ones. See, those barriers. That whole, let's give it another day. She'll show up. She's with her boyfriend. This is what causes the mistrust, widespread mistrust in law enforcement. They have an unbothered and cavalier way of handling our missing. We don't get the reports in mainstream media about women being missing, black women. When is the last time we saw a report on the news similar to the one that we just watched with Gabby Petito? Although I give a little quarter to her because she was supposed to be with somebody that showed up without her. So, but still, she is not an anomaly where this is concerned. But whenever we hear about the missing, she's missing this beautiful, you always hear the beautiful, white, blonde, blue-eyed. See, y'all know I do the history about these things. And when I talk about the way the media portrays different groups of people and their complicit behavior in allowing us to continue to be viewed in ways that are disparaging, the constant dehumanization of people of color perpetrated by the media, by the news media, by movies and shows, because we don't have control over our own image, and that must change. The reason we're right now sitting here stressing out about why this young lady is not even being recognized as missing is for that very reason. Aline Jones, thank you so much. She just put a link up where you can check street cameras live all over the world. I searched New York. Thank you, Aline, for that. Patricia Garrett says she posted information on Facebook page with the phone number of 71st Street, New York Police phone number. Very good. Thank you so much. And another one is an Earth Cam. Y'all are doing, man, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all so much. The Black Factor family is y'all a beast, man. Let's make it do what it do. But we don't have control over our image, and this is why they see us the way they do. This is why we don't get the attention and the urgency necessary in order for our young black women to be and feel protected as they move about in this world. Y'all don't forget to share this now. There should be a call for better policies and more social services when it comes to black girls, black women. Willie Everett says they also have a missing person squad, 212-694, let me write that down, 212-694-7781. Y'all best believe as soon as I get off this live, I wished I had my phone line set up because I'd call them right now. I really would. I would pick up my phone. Matter of fact, you know what? I am going to call them right now. Hold on. Let's see. 718-735-0511. I'm getting ready to call. I'm about to call them right now. I'm going to call. I want to find out. I want to know what's going on, y'all. I want to know why they're not looking for our young sister. Let me see. Do I got enough battery on this phone? Let me see. I'm gonna make this phone call. We gonna have it. We gonna witness this phone call live, y'all. Right now. Let's see. Repeat the last phone number. 212-694-7781. And that is a missing person squad of the police department. But right now, we gonna find out why they're not responding to our young sister disappearance. See, 718-735-0511. Let's see what happens here, y'all.
It's the 71st precinct of the New York City Police Department. If you have an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. If it's a non-emergency, such as a noise complaint, you may call 311 or select from the following options. For report number, press 1.
We're going to find out.
Squad, press 2. For community affairs, press 3. For the domestic violence officer, press 4. For special operations, press 5.
Let's hit special operations.
Telephone switchboard operator, press 0.
We're going to try special operations, y'all. Let's see. Let's see if they answer, y'all. Let's hope they do.
You have reached the Special Operations Office.
Figures.
If this is an emergency, please hang up and call 911. Otherwise, please leave a message.
Kim Shelton, you telling me hit 0? Okay, hold on. Let's see.
I did not recognize that as a
all right, we're going to try it again. Because they sending me the voicemails and stuff. We're going to do this again. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. 718. Hold on. You know what? I'm going to try the missing person squad. Let's see. Let's do that. Well, wait a minute. No, I want to go back to the precinct. Let me see. I'm going to hit the desk. I'm going to hit the operator. 0511. I'm going to hit the operator. I want to see what she got to say. See, this is the problem.
If you have an emergency, please hang up and dial 911.
We got somebody missing, and they playing crazy.
Noise complaint, you may call 311 or select from the following options. For report number, press 1. For the detective squad, press 2. For community affairs, press 3. For the domestic violence officer, press 4. For special operations, press 5. Or to reach the telephone switchboard operator, press 0.
Let's hit the switchboard operator.
While I transfer your call.
Thank you, Kim Shelton. Well, I guess they're not answering the phone at this precinct. Oh, yeah.
Precinct Officer Villa speaking. How can I help you?
Yeah, how you doing today, boss? Listen,
what's going on?
My name is Brian Forbes. I'm the procurer of the Black Factor talk show. I've been told that we have a young lady missing in your precinct, and we were trying to find out why a report hasn't been filed as yet. And is there something that we can do to make that happen?
You have say that again. You broke up.
I apologize. There's a young lady who has been reported by her family as missing. Unfortunately, the people in your precinct don't seem to want to take a report, and it's been way over 24 hours.
When was was she reported missing?
They tried to report her missing twice today, I believe, and yesterday.
And 911 was called and officers responded to the location?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I was told that they have tried to report twice today. It's because there's
absolutely no way that they tried to report twice and nobody responded, because we're not going to take a I don't know the circumstances, but we're not just gonna not take a missing person report, especially if they call twice.
Well, they said they were told that it
has to be on scene and they have to find out all the details. So I don't know if they called twice and tried to file. I don't know what the circumstances are, but there's no way that they called twice and no report was made.
Well, they were told that they had to wait 24 hours.
24. When did she go missing though?
This was well, now it's been since early yesterday, I believe. They told them they had to wait until 12, and then when they called back at 12, and then they said they had to wait or something else. So they still haven't filed. She still hasn't been officially reported missing. That's the problem.
Right. Did they call today?
Yes.
And they were told that what time did they call?
I believe it was right after noon. She's been missing since 12 o'clock on the previous day.
Because no, there should have been a report. Our date tours act funny. So what's going to happen is they're going to have to call 911, because we obviously have to go to that location. So what's the address that they live at?
Okay, I do not have the address in front of me. Unfortunately, the gentleman, her uncle, we just released him from the show. I will reach back out to him and give him this information. However, we're just concerned, and we're trying to find out as much as we can about why a report hadn't at least been taken. Her life is hanging in the balance, and we're trying to understand. Me and my audience here, we're trying to find out, where the issue is, and why at least some report or some knowledge or acknowledgement that she has been is gone. Now her uncle's name, her last name is Ingleton. Tamar.
Where does she reside? Does she reside with her uncle?
No, she resides with her mother there in.
Her mother is going to be the one. But she resides with her mother, right?
Right.
Where does her mother live?
Now I don't have the exact address, sir. We were trying. I'm all the way in Texas. We're a radio. We're a radio and blog show, and we're trying to get some information because we've been given this information by him and his family, and it actually came across our desk late today. And so we've taken the time out to try and get some understanding or some information that would help to at least get this ball rolling. So could you tell us what we need to do?
Whoever resides with her, wherever she resides, wherever her last known address is, that's the person that has to call, and that's the person that has to file the report.
Okay.
So whatever her address is, whoever she resides with, they're going to have to be the ones to file the report. The police are going to respond to that location, and they're going to start the report from that location, because that's where the search has to start from.
Okay. So Officer, what was your name again?
Her residence is Officer Aviles.
Could you spell that for me, please?
Aviles.
Got it. And you're the desk officer there?
No, I'm not a desk officer. I'm the TS operator.
TS operator. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay. I'm going to make sure they get that information right away.
No problem. Thank
you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard that phone call, and I don't have the uncle's information, Denise, or it's specific to addresses and things of that nature. And of course, I know they're not going to probably call the uncle, but I am going to reach out to the uncle here momentarily, and I'm going to provide him with the rest of the information necessary for him to follow up with what we just witnessed on the show.
I called and spoke with the detective. He said she's 18, she's grown, she can come and go when she pleases.
What does that have to do with filing a report?
Just tell me what he told me.
Who did you speak to?
His doctor, Detective Ingus.
Detective Ingus. Now, my wife just said she spoke to Detective Ingus, and they said she was 18 and she has the right to come and go as she pleases. So I guess if you over 18, you can't be reported missing. According to, give me that name again.
He told me that they have to at least wait 48 hours.
Oh, now they have to wait 48 hours.
Yeah, he said if they can make a report.
Now, why aren't we getting consistent information? Isn't that interesting? How they continuously give different information. See, this is what's wrong with our system and the lack of urgency. They don't care. She's just another girl. And our community is not outraged enough. Y'all should all call the 71st Precinct and worry the hell out of them and find out why somebody hadn't filed a report. So anyway, here's the thing, y'all. Tens of thousands of black women and girls are missing, which are abductees, sex trafficking victims, and runaways. Now, the problem with this is that black women sit in a very awkward position. And that is, they are not only suffering from racism, but they also have to deal with sexism. Now, you heard what I said? My sister's got to deal with two elements: sexism and racism. They are considered disposable. Now, these are the issues that contribute to the lack of protection, and not limited to health, wealth, housing, education, employment, food security, access to water, and having to deal with domestic violence and other types of violence as well. It's surprising that black women and girls would be overrepresented among the people missing in the United States. I'm sorry, is it surprising? They're more vulnerable and too easily erased from public discussions about the alarming trend of missing people. Even black girls residing in seemingly stable home environments and communities have to deal with sexual violence and other forms of violence within itself. And we've become far too casual about these situations, y'all. Black girls make up over 40% of the domestic sex trafficking victims in the U.S., while often running away from physical and or sexual abuse or lack of resources, financial and health, to name a couple. Black girls often run into sexual predators, preying on their vulnerabilities and capitalizing off the lack of outrage when black girls disappear. You see, people who would abduct a person like Tamir Ingleton, the 18-year-old church girl who does spoken word poetry, is enrolled in Brooklyn College, checks in with her family every 2 to 3 hours. But she could be a victim right now, and someone capitalizing off of the lack of outrage, because she's disappeared and there's no outrage. Nobody cares. Let me not say that. I don't mean nobody cares. I mean the people who have the power and the authority to do something don't care. Because the authorities often label black women, black young ladies, as runaways. Like my wife just came in here and stated that the detective she just spoke with said, well, she's 18, she can do whatever she wants. In his mind, she said, I'm gonna walk away from it all. I ain't gotta call nobody. I can do what I want. Not that she's operating outside of her character and doing something that is not within the scope of her being, because he doesn't care about that part. Her family knows this, but he doesn't care. It's not any of his business. You know, it's funny. I just recently started watching The Wire again, and I found it interesting. It's one thing that stood out to me in these first couple of seasons is how the detectives and the police officers don't want murders on their board, because they don't want to have to be worried about whether or not they can clear their board, or they're going to have what they call clearance. In other words, they don't have solved cases. So in other words, they will run away from their duty to solve a crime or to acknowledge the crime because they don't want it on their books. It's a numbers thing. Are we dealing with the same situation where they don't want this on their books because they don't have the ability to clear the case? or they don't even know where to begin. Somebody knows. Somebody knows something. Runaways don't get Amber Alerts. Those are reserved for abductees. Problem is, we don't know if she's been abducted or not. We don't know if somebody has done something to her and left her for dead. We don't know this. No text, no sirens, nothing when these girls go missing. 18 years old. Just because she's 18, all of a sudden, she can do whatever she wants. We're not worried about it. Now, if she were a R. Kelly victim, oh, they would be after everybody. They would be trying as hard as they could to find somebody to lock up. These women disappear into faceless mass of missing children blamed for their attempt to escape bad situations. And that would be the next thing. They're going to say, well, what was happening in the household? Was there some form of abuse going on? Not that she could possibly have just been abducted or harmed. Because she doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt simply because this right here. These cases are treated with no urgency. Systemic failures render black girls and runaways even when they're not, and treated as invisible and even worse, disposable. Their stories remain untold or unfairly chronicled as tales of juvenile delinquency and criminality. Black girls aren't afforded the protection of childhood innocence. Now, just to give you an idea, last October, 3-year-old Camille Cupcake McKinney was abducted from a birthday party in Birmingham, Alabama. And 10 days later, her lifeless body was found in a landfill less than 20 miles from her home. McKinney's abduction warranted an Amber Alert and received more local and national attention than most missing black girls. Whereas McKinney's story gained some traction in larger conversations about missing children, the tragic story of missing 5-year-old Nevaeh Lachey of South Carolina, whose body was also found in a landfill that same week, did not. Black women may fare worse in terms of awareness and outcry. When news came out last year about an interstate sex trafficking ring in Georgia and Louisiana, some media and law enforcement agencies did all they could to insinuate that the victims, can we call them victims? Can they call them victims? Complied and consented to their participation in the sex trade. So in other words, whether these women had been abducted or whether these women had been groomed, which is the word that is now being used in the R. Kelly trial. See, everybody wants to give everybody in the R. Kelly trial the benefit of the doubt, and they're claiming have been groomed. But when it comes to these women having been actually sex trafficked by people probably not of color, now all of a sudden they're willing participants. You see how we operate in double standards? This is why we have to be careful about what we say, how we say it, and how we do things. We must be very, very careful. You have to see things for what they are, not how we feel, but in fact. This is a slippery slope, y'all. But we're not outraged enough about any of it, and that's the problem. Alon Jones says, remember the young man in Georgia found in the gym mat, his organs went missing. Now, that brings a whole nother subject to the matter. And that is, in fact, another thing that is absolutely happening. We have people who literally come up missing because there is an organ trade out there. There are people abducting people for organs. And most of those people that are being abducted are black. And I'm going to do a story about this soon. In fact, I touched on this last year. See, one thing people fail to realize, and we've been taught historically that we are nothing. we're inferior and all of this type of thing. But guess whose organs tend to match everybody's? Guess whose organs have the most and strongest and longest DNA chains? Did you know that black women are the only group of women, particularly African women, the only group of women on the planet who have the ability to give birth to any race? Other races of women can't do that. That's a fact. You don't have to, you ain't got to, you can argue me up and down, but I guarantee you, if you go look it up, you'll see for yourself. All these victims of this sex trade, of course, were black women and girls. No white women. Would they have given them the benefit of the doubt? Maybe, maybe not. The traffickers and those who aided them eventually faced legal penalties, but the victims received very little, if no attention at all. Now, these are supposed to be victims, but yet of sex trafficking. See, this is how we get in trouble. We use the term sex trafficking as a blanket way to be able to call something. But then we have to decide within that context who deserves to be a victim and who deserves to be complicit. Now, who gets to make that decision if a woman is selling her body and having to give every dime that she makes to someone else? Was she groomed? Did she volunteer? Is she being trafficked? Slippery slope, y'all. These black women and girls remain unnamed, disposable people in a sensationalized story about sex trafficking. According to black and missing, stereotypes about African Americans and crime also play a role in the disparity in the media coverage. Black women are often labeled as criminal associates, involved with drugs and gangs, and assumed to live in areas where crime is part of their daily lives. Now, let's also remember that the area that this young lady, Tamar Ingleton, is a poor area. It's not well off, well to do. So, of course, the police said, well, you know, she's probably somewhere at a boyfriend's house or somewhere getting high, that kind of thing. Now, I just found this and I thought it was interesting. In Montgomery, Alabama, 7 black women have been identified as missing since as far back as 1998, 4 of whom were abducted between the ages of 16 and 21. One who remains unlisted in both the National Missing and Unidentified Person System and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's database. Now, think about that. Here's a person who's missing, and let's say she doesn't have a lot of family or a lot of people to raise hell and make a lot of noise, or a show like this that has people who are willing to make phone calls and get on people's ass about it. She's not even listed in law enforcement or national law enforcement or local law enforcement as missing. Come on, y'all. There's something wrong with this. 7 women. Kimberly Arrington. She was abducted in 98 at 16 years old. LaQuanta Riley, abducted in 2003, 19 years old. Aubrina Mack. She hasn't been seen since 2006. She was 21 years old. Nanette Thomas, 2016. She was 51 years old. See, now, if you think you're exempt because you're older, you're not. You're still a black woman, and you deserve protection. Lakira Goldsmith, abducted 2018 at 20 years old. Kikiana Burton, 44 years old. Donna Michelle Calloway, 39 years old. Ladies, none of you are exempt from the possibility of abduction. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm very disturbed by this. And I say this as I sit here waiting for my own child to come through the door as she travels to come home for a short time to be with me. I worry about my children when I can't see them, when I don't hear from them, my son included, as many of us and most of us do and will. Some sick people in this world, y'all. Some sick people, some sick individuals. And I don't know what else to do. Now, I sat here and as I was preparing for this show, I thought to myself, I said, what resources do we have or could we use in order to reach out to report missing persons? And as I began to dig these things up, I found the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at the Charles B. Wang International Children's Building, 699 Prince Street, Alexandria, Virginia. And their phone number is 1-800-843-5678. Website is missingkids.org. But as I did that, it occurred to me that so what? They have these organizations. If none of them care enough, just like the police, if none of them care enough to even file a police report for one of our missing black women, our black girls, our black children, why would they care even then? It's crazy. And I got a note that makes insane sense. I want y'all to understand something. We live in a country right now where the gun laws are what they are. We did a show about this in recent months, and I'm going to do another show soon where I discuss firearms and firearm training. Now, there are those who want to continue to buck the system of self-protection to that degree. Let me caution you and let me assure you, there will never come a day where firearms will be banned or not available legally in America. Because of that fact alone, I want you to be clear that it is necessary for you to take the time yourself and get you a gun. Take you some classes. Get yourself a permit to carry. Make it available to you in cases where you will need to protect yourself from potential abductor, from potential people with ill will, from some of these sick individuals on this planet, because there are. Understand me, I'm going to say this again. In America, there will never come a time where guns will be illegal. Just get that out of your head. And I'm going to give you one last piece of advice before I go. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. All right, y'all. I just posted this young lady's picture on my Facebook page. Tamar Ingleton, missing since 9/21 of 21. I messed that up. I should have put 21 on there. Missing from Crown Heights or Brooklyn College. Date of birth 9/23 of 02. Her birthday is tomorrow, y'all. She's 18 years old. She'll be 19. Female, black, color hair black, eye color brown. She stands 5'2" and she is 110 pounds. Last seen in Brooklyn, New York, Schenectady Avenue, on her way to Brooklyn College. If you've seen or heard of her or her whereabouts, please contact 911 immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have followed this show and those of you who have not, the 71st Precinct, Brooklyn, 718-735-0511. That's the phone number. We need answers, y'all. We need to know why our sister, our young sister, has not been officially reported as missing. Now, the date that I have on that particular flyer is wrong. The missing date, 9/21/02. It should be 9/21/21. Okay? I'm going to correct that in a second. But I said all that to say my prayers are out to the family. I hope that this ends well. I hope that she is found. I'll be honest with you. As angry as I might be, I hope she said, oh, I was with my boyfriend and we just ran away. I would rather hear that. I would rather hear that she did something stupid than that something happened to her. I'll take that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And I love y'all. My Black Factor family. Oh So Smooth Radio. I love y'all. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being my family. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to end the show. I don't want to, but I'm going to because I got work to do. I got phone calls to make. I'm going to reach out and see what we can make happen. We're going to make the earth move, y'all. Let's do this. Share it, share it, share it, share it. Make sure somebody see it. Reach out to your people on the East Coast. Let them know. We got people in New York. We got people in Brooklyn. Let's make it happen, y'all. The picture is on my Facebook page. Let's find Tamara Ingleton. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Forbes. This has been The Black Factor. Good night, y'all.